It's really about self-awareness. We cannot be more connected to other people than we are to ourselves. If we don't understand our emotional landscape, if we don't understand what's driving our thinking and driving our behaviors, because let me make no mistake, emotion is at the wheel. Thinking and acting are not riding in the front seat shotgun. They are hogtied in the trunk. Emotion drives. We are emotional beings. Heart is sea, language is shore. Whatever sea includes will hit the shore. To me, what that means is our heart is this sea of expansiveness, of emotion, of experience. And at some point, that emotion and experience needs to bump into language. What language means to us as a social species. I just did not understand. Maybe 15 years ago, we collected survey research from right over 7,000 people, and we asked them this question. Write a list of every emotion that you can recognize in yourself when you're feeling it, and you can name it. And the average number was 3. Happy, mad, and sad. And I started to ask myself, what does it mean if we don't have a vocabulary that's as expansive as the human experience? I have been working on this damn framework for cultivating connection with ourselves and each other for 22 years. It started as my dissertation research, but I couldn't figure it out. I thought when I wrote The Gifts of Imperfection, I had it figured out. I didn't. I thought I had it with Daring Greatly and Braving the Wilderness. I didn't. And then I thought, actually, I resigned myself to never being able to build a framework. It wasn't going to happen. Things that I was learning as I started doing this research, one, I was wrong about a couple of things. One was, along with probably every other emotion researcher I know, I have said this sentence 1,000 times. We should learn how to recognize emotion in ourselves and others. I do not think it is possible to learn how to recognize emotion in other people. I think that's bad business. No matter what behavior you were engaged in, if I saw you raging and throwing the books behind you, if I saw you sobbing, there are 50 emotions that present each of those ways. And so I'm going to have to make a ton of assumptions. And what am I going to shove the experience of my employee who's upstairs crying and who's 25, Black, and a single mom? I'm going to shove her experience in front of my lens, which is, mid 50s, like completely different. So the idea of walking in someone else's shoes and trying to understand what they're feeling, I believe has no merit. I think the call is much more difficult and much more powerful. And that is to ask the person for their story of what it's like in their shoes and to believe them. So the problem becomes, why do we think we have to walk in other people's shoes? The problem is the believing part. And the problem is in not believing her when she tells me her story, because it either challenges what I want to be true about the world, or it challenges my idea that there's just one experience of the world, or it makes me accountable in some way that makes me uncomfortable. So when I started doing this research, I came across a concept from Buddhism that I remember reading many years ago. It didn't hit me. When I came across it this time, I thought, this is the piece missing for the framework on meaningful connection. And it's the concept of the near enemy. And what a near enemy is, it is an emotion or a virtue that looks and feels and masquerades like the thing that we are looking for or want to be, but it sabotages it. And the reason I needed this concept was because when you study connection for as long as I have, what you realize is that the far enemy of emotions is not the problem. The problem is not when I call you and I'm suffering and you're, instead of giving me compassion, you're cruel. That's easy. Like, I get it. Like, I just got punched in the face. The problem is the near enemy. When I call you and I'm desperate for connection, and the near enemy of compassion is pity. And so you pity me and feel sorry for me. And it seems like everything should be okay when that's over, but I feel more alone and more disconnected, and there's no meaningful connection between us. So the big finding for me for this book was re-examining the concept of near enemy, and that the far enemy of connection is disconnection, right? That makes sense. But the near enemy of connection is control. So if I see this 25-year-old woman crying and I say, what's going on? And she says, my kid's sick again. Her dad can't get her. I missed a day of work yesterday. To really be with her, I can't try to control the situation. I can't say, oh, we can handle that. I can't, just to be with her means being in connection with her. God, that's so hard. Those feel like impossible choices. Emotions are not shared and discussed. They're exploited. And vulnerability is not mutual and reciprocal. It's leveraged. And I don't want to make it sound too Machiavellian, because I thought about my own life when, if one of my kids came home and said, God, I got in trouble today for being, disrespectful because I got caught talking during a lecture. Connection would be like, tell me what was going on. But I don't go to connection sometimes. Sometimes I go to control, which is, you know what? You get your ass over there and send an email to that teacher and apologize for being disrespectful. And I want to, we control situations when